Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we have my good friend and guest, Brother Hafiz Hassan Faye. He's currently in Toronto, but he's an Atlanta boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's going on? I said, Alhamdulillah, it is, or should I say Imam? I said, that's why you first called me Hassan, because it's obviously we're friends.
Yeah.
We went to the same madrasa, so for us it's like, it's different. But I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I could join you. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to. But
Yeah.
alhamdulillah,
It's tough.
I took a nap in the afternoon just so I
Okay.
can be able to join you.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, bro.
So what's it called? How's everything been? How's the wife? How's the family?
Alhamdulillah, man. I can't complain. Allah's merciful.
And
Allah's
mashallah,
merciful.
Hassan, his father is a well-known sheikh in Gambia, Sheikh Muntaha Faye, if I said his name right.
That's correct. Yes. Untitled Chapter. Yes, that's it. Absolutely. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Come from a family of scholars, so I'm falling short. But alhamdulillah, it's okay.
Alhamdulillah. Allah
We
subhanahu wa
each
ta'ala
have
accept.
our own path, right?
Yeah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept whatever we do.
Ameen.
So what's it called? Obviously, a lot of things have been going on recently, and one of the things which you had posted about and which we discussed even in the comment section, I think, of your post, was the Senegalese Muslim family whose house was set on fire in Denver, and
Yeah.
a father, a mother, a daughter, and the father's sister and her daughter, they all ended up dying in this
Yes.
fire.
Yeah.
So one of the main things was, in my humble opinion, was the way the media was covering it was really doing the family an injustice. They keep on saying Denver house fire,
Yeah.
and then there's one news report which clearly talks about that this is a hate or an arson incident, that it was done on purpose. It wasn't an accident. So
Right.
I really want you to shed some light on this.
Yeah. So as we know, especially in the climate that we're living in, this is not something that should surprise anyone, unfortunately, right? And when I say this, I mean hate crimes against Black people, against Muslims, right? Us, the Black and Muslim or Black, whatever you want to, call it. We
Yeah.
are, especially in the United States of America, we are seen and we have been seen as other, right? Less than,
Yeah.
or different, below, and all of these adjectives you can use to describe it. So this Muslim family, who happens to obviously be Black, in their home, not bothering anyone, and what happens? Mass. There. First of all, if whoever comes and does the act is wearing a mask, that's
Yeah.
obviously premeditated, right? It's
Definitely.
like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't like, oh, wrong how. No, they knew what they were doing. They were targeting this family, right?
Yeah.
They were targeting this family, and they
Yeah.
were like you have to be truly evil to truly do what they did. But this is the climate that we're living in the United States. So they come and they murder the family, and they try to cover it up by burning the house.
Yeah.
Which to me, these people were not too smart, because in my estimation, that's literally you calling people to come and say, hey, look what happened, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that we're trying to get down to the bottom of. But obviously, as you mentioned, the media, they I haven't heard in the media, I haven't seen one thing that said Muslim family, right? Or Black Muslim. There's nothing about that, right? But if the people that did the crime were either Black or Muslim, that
Yeah.
would be the headline, right?
That would be the headline.
That would be the headline. And it really shows you the double standards, the racism that is in our in our communities, the Islamophobia that is in our community. So the media, number one, has not given this this hate crime its proper coverage, right?
Yeah.
It's not. It should be front page. It should be blasted on CNN. It should be blasted on Fox News. It should be blasted on these news outlets,
Yeah.
right? But it's not. I haven't heard anyone talk about it, and it's not something that it's not one of those things that happened that wasn't caught. It's like it's there. We see it.
Yeah.
We know that it happened.
It
And
happened
so
almost 20 days ago now.
yeah. So like, why isn't there any coverage on it? And simply put, we know why, right? We know why, and that's the reason why we are in the state that we're in right now,
Yeah.
fighting this for racial justice, for criminal reform, fighting for police brutality and the police state against the police state, and so on and so forth. It's because of things like this, right?
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example. I remember exactly when our brothers and sisters were brutally murdered in Christchurch. The
Yeah.
night it happened was a Thursday night, obviously for us.
Yes.
I pull up CNN and it says firearms incident in New Zealand. I was like, what the heck is a firearms incident? And so I jump over to Fox News, and FoxNews.com says mosque attacked in New Zealand. And CNN by a lot of people is championed as supposed to be the news source which is not as biased against Muslims, but that's not true.
Right.
And I'm on there and I'm reading, and Fox News has already said that this is what happened, and CNN's still like, oh, it's a firearms incident, we don't know what happened, and this and that and so on and so forth. And I read the news report right now, it's the same thing. They're like,
Yeah.
Denver house fire investigation ongoing. But
Right.
when a Muslim does something, they're instantly jumping on top of it. That if the guy has a name which sounds Muslim, even they'll jump on top of it. But in this case, it's like, oh, whatever. There were some guys wearing like the mask from Scream, and it happened.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's and like you brought up, these news outlets, bro, they're not our friends, no matter what we think about them, right? You see Anderson Cooper with his white hair and all of that, and people will be like, oh yeah, he's on our side. You see Don Lemon, and you see all of these guys, and you're like, oh yeah, they're on our side. But even comedians like Dave Chappelle like go in on this, like, yo,
Yeah.
you guys are like, we have to be critical, and we have to stop being sheep, right? And we have to stop this whole, we need a savior, and we need to be saved by the Western media, right?
Yeah.
That mentality that we need to be saved by the West, right? And I
Yeah.
was talking about that, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but even in the Netflix thing, before this thing even happened, when they canceled Hassan Minhaj, the Patriot Act.
Patriot
Now,
Act.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, I never watched Hassan Minhaj.
Yeah.
He wasn't, because I don't like his kind of comedy. It's not my forte, right?
Yeah.
It's not my thing. I just feel like some of the things but publicly, I'm like, yo, that's my brother.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, he was calling out America, and what happened? He got canceled, right?
Yeah.
But if we have our own platforms, right, we wouldn't need Netflix.
We
You
wouldn't.
know what I'm saying?
You're right about that.
Yeah, like, you're not gonna cancel me, because it's from us, by us, right?
Yeah.
So we have to have our own platforms that are challenging these Netflix and these Hulu and these places where when shows come, we look at it like, okay, it fits this criteria, boom, we'll champion that show, we'll put it on, and you can say whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
And that is something that, like, a lot of like Jay-Z, the rapper, the hip hop artist, the mogul,
Yeah.
that's something that he knew, right? So he was like, no, my music's not going to be played on Apple Music. It's not going to be played on Spotify. It's all going to be on Tidal. He made his own streaming service.
Yeah.
Why did he do this? Because,
Empowering yourself.
right, he knew. He's like, look, all of you guys come to Tidal, right? You have this, you have that, you have this, you have that. By us, from us. And if we have that mentality, the problem is the Muslim community, we don't have that mentality. If we have that mentality, then we won't have to worry about, let's cater to what they want, because we don't want to be canceled. We won't have that. And that, for me, that's a
Yeah.
huge thing. We're always looking to be saved by the white man. And it's like, at some point, it just has to stop. Like, because all of these big companies are owned by white men, right? Not even women,
They're
white men. And
absolutely right.
if you go against what they say, you're canceled. You're done for.
Well, it's like what's going on right now with the Democratic National Party. With I don't really pay attention too much because I know what's going on and I know how it's gonna end up and how the narrative runs. But with Sister Linda and how they're basically for a while there, she was their champion leading the women's march, and they were like, "Oh, Sister Linda, she's doing such a good job. We have Muslims on board." But now all of a sudden, maybe they need somebody's votes or they need something, and all of a sudden she's a social pariah and they need to get rid of her.
Exactly. And that's what they'll do to you. And that's why I never look at them as like, yo, I'm looking to you to give me validation. The problem with us Muslims is we're looking for the outside. We're looking for validation from other people from outside. And it's something that we learned from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told his own uncle, like, look, if they came to me and they put the sun in my right hand and they put the moon in my left hand, like, I wouldn't, like, there's nothing I would not be able to denounce this path that I'm on. So, like, stop. Like, there's no, like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, my Allah is the one that put this on me. My Allah is the one that gave me dignity. My Allah is the one that gave me human rights. My Allah is the one that gave me all of these things. I don't need you to validate that for me.
No, you're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, our problem in the Muslim community stems from us looking to the white man as a standard and looking to them as, oh, validate me. You know, give me an Emmy award. Give me this award. Oh, look, you know, what's his name? Rami Youssef said, you know,
oh God, I was thinking of that. As you were talking, I was thinking of that.
Yeah, it's like, why do we need that? Like,
I mean,
why did we need that?
I didn't even watch a show. I don't think I'm ever gonna watch a show. But as much as I've heard about that show, it's like you know, obviously, like you said earlier, even if we don't, you know, we may not like it, but inside we'll be like, look, this isn't a good thing to do. But on the outside, we won't publicly denounce somebody and be like, look, he's wrong. Because if somebody's getting some success and they're a Muslim, they need to be out there in the media, like you said with Hassan Minhaj. And you want them to be out there. And we may not agree with everything, but at the same time, we can't be publicly sparring with them and putting them down, like you said.
Yeah, because something that we have to understand as Muslims is we can fight amongst each other in the house. Yeah. Right? We can disagree amongst each other in the house. Yeah. But when we're out there, we gotta be united. We gotta be like, oh no, that's my brother. No, that's my sister. Don't knock. I'm with them 100%. Yeah. We have to, because otherwise they're looking at us and they see, oh, this house is broken. We can pick them apart very easily. Yeah. And that's exactly what they're doing to us right now.
That's what they've been doing for the past 100 years.
That's what they've been doing. Yeah. Because when's the last time the Muslim was really united and strong? And you know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, as you know, after the death of Umar al-Khattab, it was just kind of going slowly and settling downhill from there. We know that. But still, majority was, you know what I'm saying? We had enough unity in the Muslim world to where the outside was like, okay, we can't really mess with these people. But then when as time progressed and it started breaking apart more and more and more, what do we see? They're like, oh, now we could get through these cracks. And then those cracks became like big waves, right? So, and that's where we're at right now.
I mean, it's just unfortunate. And I mean, especially in the case of our brothers and sisters, and all throughout the United States, I imagine, like you've shared many times before, I think it was a man in Atlanta, not in Atlanta, in Georgia. It was a Sudani brother who was murdered.
Yeah.
And then recently there's been another brother who's been murdered. Mm-hmm. And it's ongoing. And then obviously, like you have Imam Jamil al-Amin, he's in prison. We have our own internal issues going on. And many of them relate to African American or Black American problems. Some of them relate to foreign American problems. And they're all related. And a lot of times, like you have organizations like CARE. And, you know, Hassan Shibli is a very close friend of mine. You know Hassan Shibli as well. And when they're doing good work, we may not agree with everything they're doing, but we have to agree with the good work they're doing. Right. And we need to unite and we need to support, even if you can't monetarily support, you need to, how can I say, emotionally and spiritually be supporting these organizations because of the good they're doing and the good they're trying to do for people.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that, I think if that happens, I think we'll be, in a much better state. If everyone understood the concept of, look, just because I'm not publicly outing you and publicly going against something that you said,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I 100% agree with everything.
Yeah.
That's that it's like it's either one or the other. How's that? Like, that's not how the world is not that black and white.
But that's what
Right?
it's become now.
That's exactly.
And
First of all,
especially the
even
cancel culture.
and it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation, and I think that, if we just realize this, that one thing, like, just because I publicly agree with, or your overall, let's just
Yeah.
say, like, your overall, what you call it, vision, doesn't mean that I agree with every way you're going about it, right?
That's very true.
And if I endorse you publicly, it doesn't mean every little thing I'm endorsing every little thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we see even in the presidential candidates. Like, look, at the end of the day, we either have Joe. I was about to say Joe Budden, who was a rapper back in the day, but we either have Joe Biden or we have Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Those are our choices. There's no other choice.
Yeah.
Kanye West, I don't know what people are thinking, but Kanye West is not allowed to be.
No, it's not an option. It's not like he's a bad option, but out of those three, I don't think there's a good option.
He's a terrible option. He needs to get his head together before he runs the country. We see what happens when we have a maniac in the White House. Okay? We don't need a black maniac in the White House. That's not. It's not changing anything. What we need to do is, like, look, I don't agree with. Look, Joe Biden is Joe Biden.
Yeah.
We understand that. But would you rather have 4 more years of Donald Trump, or would you rather have someone that you can actually be, go back and forth with and get some stuff out of them, maybe not everything, and you know what I'm saying, go back and forth? Because to me, it's not much of a difference between Joe Biden and Obama.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't like a huge Obama fan.
Yeah.
Why? Because of his foreign policies.
Yeah.
They weren't great for Muslims. I'm a Muslim first before I'm black. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're charcoal and you're in the White House. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah. Right? What are you doing for my Muslim brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Right? You didn't do much. You didn't do. As a matter of fact,
anything.
It was to our detriment.
Yeah.
Right? It was to our detriment. And unfortunately, when you say that in a lot of spaces, you're seen as like the Antichrist.
Yeah, because I've spoken with a lot of people who hate. They're very anti-democrat, but I ask them one question. I'm always like, why did Obama make it to where he made it? They're like, he was a great speaker. He could convince you. If he was telling you something is wrong, and you know it's right, he could convince you it's wrong. They're like, we were convinced. He had us convinced. And he would go to Muslims. He was able to say Muslim country names properly. He went to Egypt and he gave a speech and he did all these things. So people were convinced he was doing stuff for Muslims.
Very democratic, very politician.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he was. And Joe Biden is the same way. Now, obviously Obama was a little bit better than Joe Biden in a lot of ways. Yeah. But they're cut from the same cloth, right? Yeah. And for me, it's as simple as, look, man, I think I might sleep better at night with Joe Biden in the house, rather than Donald Trump in the house. Maybe just a little bit better. Yeah. But I'll take that little bit because that's what we have right now. Yeah. Now the next, you know what I'm saying? Like the next election, then we can try to go back to, you know what I'm saying? Like better candidates. Yeah. You know, our vote would have obviously been to have my man Uncle Bernie in the house. Right? That's what Muslims wanted. Because why? Because he was honest. Yeah. Right? He was honest, he was truthful, and he had decades to back what he was saying. He truly is a good human being. Yeah. Right? Better than most that I've ever met. Yeah. Right? So this is the kind of person. No, I'm saying like he's better than most people that I've met. Oh, okay. Right? Most people but unfortunately, America did not deserve Bernie Sanders. Yeah. So we don't have Bernie Sanders. Okay? Now we have someone that might be a little bit better than Trump. At this point, anyone is better than Trump. Okay, my point in saying all of that is I don't have to agree with everything Joe Biden says in order
Yeah.
to have him in the House, right?
Yeah.
Or to publicly endorse him, so on and so forth. But Muslims, oh, you're endorsing Joe Biden? He's this, he's that. I'm like, bruh, who said that I agree with every single policy of his?
Yeah.
But you have to be critical here. This is nuance. It's not some black and white situation. It's like,
Yeah.
look, you're literally doing the lesser of two evils, and I hate that. I actually hate that, but it is what it is.
That's the only option.
It's our only option. We're here, right?
I mean, you let him get in the White House and then hold him accountable.
And then hold him accountable. And what I believe is he'll be easier to hold accountable than Trump. Okay,
Yeah.
because of his language. Oh, you said that you were for Muslim. You said you were this. You said you were that. Okay, now we want to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the thing about it is, we need to hold them accountable. We don't.
We don't. That's the problem.
And
that's very true.
And when it comes back to it, like, what we segue off of is the organizations that we need to support them, and especially right now in Denver, I think this is a not Somali, Senegalese community and the largest Denver Muslim community. They're trying to push to have something done for this family to find out who did this arson and why it happened. We should really be supporting. We should really be sharing. We should be doing whatever we can. And the people who are out there should be pushing for it, that some justice can be brought. And obviously, that family can't be brought back, but the family can at least get some justice by those arsonists getting caught.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely, I mean, I don't know how else. I know Sheikh Omar Suleiman posted about it as well. But these things, when they happen, there should be a committee of our scholars and the ones that are really like out there and influential and whatnot, like the Omar Suleimans and whatnot. And I feel like it should be spearheaded by Sheikh Omar Suleiman. Why? Because he actually puts himself out there with all of these things. He sees what's going on. He actually speaks out against it. But we need to have the other scholars also speak out against it. The other community leaders who have a following speak out against it. There should be a uniformity in the Muslim community where when something like this happens, everyone knows about it. At the very least, everyone in the Muslim community knows about it. And then everyone blasts it outside of the Muslim community as well, in their workplaces, with their friends, with their whatever, families, whatever it may be, right? Because if you have like a Sheikh Omar Suleiman post and then no one else posts about it, it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? But if it happened to someone that's from your side of the world, you know what I'm saying, you more than likely post about it. More than likely, you would post about it.
It needs to be a Muslim issue, not just an issue of, let's say, somebody's from Gambia or somebody's from Senegal or somebody's from Pakistan. It needs to be a Muslim issue first.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It should be in the Muslim community. Everyone should know whether the person's black, whether they're Desi, Pakistani, Indian, Bangladesh, whether they're Arab, whether they're Chinese, no matter where they come from. Right? We should all be together. Why? As I said earlier, because we're Muslim first, man.
Yeah.
You know, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us and He scattered our souls everywhere, we didn't see black, white, Chinese, we didn't see any of that. But we were like, look, alastu bi rabbikum qalu bala. Right? Like He asked, like, am I not your Lord? And we answered in the affirmative. So khalas, you said bye. We're Muslim. So we're Muslim first before we're anything. Right? Yeah. And I always tell people, like, look, when we get to Jannah, I don't know what y'all expecting, but these colors and whatnot, we're not gonna be defined by that, right? Asad's not gonna look at me and be like, "Hey, that's my black brother right there," and I'm not gonna go to Asad and be like, "Kihal Charlie Baisab." Like that's not gonna happen, right? Like it's just not how it's gonna work.
It's just Hassan and Asad. That's it.
It's just Hassan and Asad. So we started off as only Muslim, and we're gonna end up as only Muslim in this world. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He created us with different nations, different tribes, so we can come together.
Come together.
The purpose is solely to come together, not to look at the other person as an other, but to say, oh, hey, there's someone that doesn't look like me. I want to get to know them. This person is interesting, so on and so forth. That's how you come together, right? And learn about different cultures and learn about different people, because that helps grow love between the people, right? But I don't know what we think when we look at the verse like that.
Yeah.
right? Oh yeah, we're creating different tribes, different nations, but what's the reason? Lita arafu, right? That lam is
Yeah.
a lam of clarification, so that you can get to know one another.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's the only reason, right?
And
And then what do you say? Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The only one, like in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only sight that matters, right?
yeah.
Is this sight. And in this sight, the one that has the most taqwa is the one that is the most honored. And where's taqwa? Can you see it in my skin color? Can you see it in my hair texture? How tall I am? How short I am? How light skinned? How black? Can you see it in any of those things? No, you cannot. Therefore, you have to treat me the same way you treat everyone else, because you don't know if I'm closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or if you're closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? So what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something that's simple, right? A lot of people talk about this in the khutbah, but then we go out there and we start differentiating, and that differentiation makes us put ourselves in different groups instead of coming together, right? And unless we actually can come together and bond, as Muslims first, and then as Pakistani or as Gambian, and that's secondary.
See, one of the things about it is, whatever we look, the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we look at them and we look at them deeply, we'll see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps bringing us together despite our differences, but we're the ones who keep creating those differences and pulling each other apart. Because if you look at the salah, you stand beside people, you don't know who they are, you don't know what they look like, you're just standing together, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing us together. The salah times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing us together. I don't want to wake up for Fajr at 5:15, I want to wake up at 6:15. You want to wake up for Fajr at 5:30. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forcing us to come together at that time despite our differences. Why is that? He keeps on continuously teaching us that your differences are to bring you together, not to rip you apart. And we keep doing that to ourselves.
Yeah. And until we can realize what we have as Muslims, we're gonna always be like playing this catch up. And I never want to be like, the cynicism and like all of that stuff. I'm not that kind of person. I'm like always optimistic and whatnot. But we just gotta call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Muslim community, we are where we are because of our own selves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no one did this to us. We did this to ourselves.
So we were talking earlier before we started about the movie, the perverted movie that's coming out pretty soon, and how should we as Muslims be assessing that? What should we be doing? Give a little bit of background into that, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So there's this. First of all, there's a Senegalese French woman who wants to talk about her experiences, and she made it into a movie, like growing up as in France or whatnot, being hypersexualized as a young kid, and so on and so forth. That was her reality.
Okay.
And she tries to what she tries to do is portray that in this movie, in this film, right? And the film is in French is something else, but it's translated as Cuties, which is also another issue. But it's translated as Cuties in English, right? So the movie, the way it was done, the way it was told, it won like a huge award, the Sundance Film Award, right?
Yeah.
And so Netflix picked up the movie, and they said, "Oh, we want to we want to show this movie as well. We think this is an important movie, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. But we need to make money off of the movie, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the poster of the movie from the original poster where you have like 4 girls running down the street, even though they're also like dressed weird, but they're fully dressed.
Yeah.
Just one like has like they're like being rebels. One has like underwear on top of her pants and stuff like that, right? Even to me, that's not okay. But at least they're, it's not provocative in that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So they decide that, we're not going to use that cover. We're going to make our own cover. Cool. But it's not only that we're going to make our own cover. Our cover is going to be very provocative. We're going to make the young 11-year-old girls look like they're strippers.
Yeah.
Right? Adult dancers. That's just call a spade a spade. They literally look like adult dancers on that that cover that Netflix
Poster.
the poster that they first introduced them as. Right? Now,
Yeah.
you have 4 girls in the poster, and this is something that I someone else pointed out to, and I realized it. 2 girls are black, one is white, and then the other one is, I think, like Hispanic or something. I'm not sure. But the 2 black girls are the ones that are in positions that are very, very vile, right?
Okay.
One is on her knees, bent over, and the other one is like on her feet, but like bent down, right?
Okay.
And like her hands are like, like just like very, 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 no young 11-year-old girl should be in those kind of poses, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, right? Because again, literally what it is, that image is adult dancers in strip clubs.
Yeah.
Right? And that's literally, if you see that and you just change the faces to adult faces or whatnot, you would be like, oh, this is probably a stripper movie. 100%. 100%. So Netflix decided to come out with that poster because they want to entice people.
Yeah. Make it edgy.
Make it edgy. You want to entice people by using 11-year-old girls to do it? And
I mean that's pretty
yeah. You know what's even worse? It says the movie is not for children. It is in the adult section of Netflix.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Adult section of Netflix. I said, think about this. It's a movie with 4 children.
Yeah.
And you're saying that it's for adults, though. How does that make any sense?
I mean, I told you the other day in the comment section, I was like, I don't know who the hell that director is. There's something wrong with that guy.
Something is wrong. Yeah.
If you're making a movie, you got camera, and I don't exactly know how many people are like on a film set, but there's a lot of people there. If you have like 50 people standing there, adults over 21 years of age, watching little 11 or 12-year-olds dancing and shaking their butts and telling them they're doing it wrong and trying to fix their positions, there's something really wrong with that.
Sick in the head. But here's the thing: when you grow up in a society that normalizes something like pornography, right?
Yeah.
It's just gonna keep going. You're gonna keep like pushing the envelope, right? Pornography. Then it's like, oh, this is not enough anymore. We need to change. In order to entice people more, we need to move the bar further.
Yeah.
Because the brain, the more you see something, the more you get used to it, right? So it doesn't give you that excitement anymore, that rush. You don't get that same rush as you used to get from it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like now you have. I was talking to someone the other day. There's like in pornography, there's like a teen section. It literally says teens. I said, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, think about that. Like, it actually says teens. What is a teen? Between 13 and 18.
13 and 18.
That's sick. But it's a category that they have on their sites.
It's to entice people, like you said.
Exactly. So what happens is when you have that kind of sick mind, the director is not thinking like we're thinking, because see, we're anchored by something that they're not. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I put in my Friday post on Instagram. Inna hadha al-Qur'an yahdi lillati hi aqwam. That this Quran is what guides to what is most straight.
Yeah.
Like the straightest of paths.
Yeah.
And if you just keep with it, then whatever you see that's not that, it will rub you the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right? So some people are like, oh, what's the big deal? I just see it. Someone said it's a coming of age story. Are you coming of age story? So girls are supposed to turn into strippers? That's their coming of age? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, the hypersexualization of society is already disturbing. And I was talking with one of my cousins. I don't know if you remember him or not. He studied in Al Farouk when he used to go there back in the day, like maybe 10 years ago. His name's Waqas.
No, I know. Yeah,
Waqas. Me and Waqas, we were talking about TikTok. And I don't have TikTok downloaded. He doesn't have TikTok downloaded. And what we were discussing.
God help us from TikTok. I don't have it either.
So the thing about TikTok is, which really disturbs me, is it's a consistent stream that when you watch one video, it automatically jumps to the next video.
Goes to the next,
Yeah, and it's consistently people dancing or doing something stupid, and it's mostly people dancing and like younger kids and stuff like that. And it's socially and culturally acceptable to watch that now. So, like you said, people will be like, "Well, to watch this movie is okay. We're already watching it. This is no different.
It's not a different. Exactly.
This has a story to it. Oh, it's more interesting."
Yeah, yeah. We've been socially conditioned, and again, this is the reason why I stay away from things like this. And some people will be like, "Oh, you're too much," right?
Well,
I never have to.
You weren't even on Instagram.
Yeah, right. Like I just now in 2020, I decided to join Instagram for a specific reason. But something like TikTok and stuff, I'm against. If I could erase TikTok off the face of the earth, I would.
Well, I told my cousin that one of my cousins that day he's like, why would you do that? I was like, I just don't like it.
Yeah, I just don't like it. It's more harmful than people make it out to be. Yes, of course you can get on there and do the reminders and whatnot. But what are the videos that are getting the millions of views? Let's be honest with ourselves.
It's definitely not a sheikh saying Bismillah.
It's not. It's just not. Right? It's people like, oh, you should get on TikTok and do your recitations and stuff. No. Like what? Why? Little snippet of recitation. Is that what the Quran is supposed to be now? Get like a little 30-second dose.
How much is TikTok? Is TikTok even 30 seconds? I don't even know.
I
thought it was 10 seconds.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to ask some of my younger cousins. They would probably know. I don't even know. But that's what it is. It's like even doing like on Instagram, I think the videos are 1 minute, and you can do Instagram TV, which is like however long. I think an hour. You used to do that. I remember. And in Ramadan. And so when it comes down to it, the message you can get across in an hour, you can't get across in 30 seconds. And
it's ridiculous to even think that you should try to do that.
And people
like, oh, that's where the kids are on and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, let's get the kids somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? We don't just, you're like, oh, the kids are in the club, so let's go to the club. That's not the mentality we should have. Let's find a way to get the kids out of the club.
You're right. So I'm going to tell you something. I don't know. We never really spoke about this. I ran a food truck, and when I was running the food truck, we would have the food truck in like an area called South End on Fridays and Saturdays, and that's basically where all the bars and clubs are. And we would be there basically from like the food truck would open up around 6 or 7, and I would come in around 10 or 11, and we would work until 3 or 4 a.m. And Hassan, the amount of Muslim guys and girls I used to like run into. I was inside of the food truck working.
Right.
We run into this one guy. He was a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what nationality was or anything, but he was a Muslim guy. He was an Arab-speaking guy. He would be so drunk, he would forget how to speak any other language aside from Arabic. And he would come to us to get food, and he would communicate with me in Arabic, and we'd give him his food, and we'd give him some extra stuff. And then afterwards, after he would eat, after drinking, you eat.
Oh no.
Are you there?
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
I don't either.
But he used to eat, and then we would talk, and I would be like, "Did you go for Jum'ah this week?" And he'd be like, "No." He's like, "I'm gonna go inshallah next week." And we'd have these like small discussions. I wasn't making him feel guilty by any means, but basically, even after all of this, he knew that what he was doing wasn't right.
Right.
And a lot. And I spoke with one guy. He came to my store one day, and he works for a company. And I was talking with him, and I was like, "So, brother, what do you do on the weekends?" Young guy, really young cat. So he's like, us guys, Muslim guys, were from a certain country. We all gathered at one of our houses. I was like, okay, so what do you guys do from there? So we go to the bar. I was like, why? Like, there's nothing to do. I was like, look, you have to make something to do. You can't just go to the easiest haram option and say that's what we have to do. But at the same time, as community organizers, as massages, as boards, we have to make something happen for them at the same time. And I know you've been doing a lot of that down in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to. I work with a few masajids. Right now I'm working with the masjid that I grew up in, Masjid Hidayah, which is now Al Furqan, Masjid Al Furqan. And I work with them, and I work with the youth. And one of the issues, it's very difficult, especially now during COVID. I
Yeah.
I do my halakas and stuff online, and you know you have problems with like attendance. You have like 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You know, and I've cut it down to only 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm very good with time. When I say 30 minutes, it stops at 30 minutes, right?
Super.
No more. Just to try to entice them, like, look, guys, just come. It's not gonna be long, right? You can do it. So, but even with that, there has to be some kind of interest.
Yeah.
Because like we can provide everything we can provide. I said, but if there's no interest, they're not gonna show up, right?
Yeah. You're right.
The ones that you can't get 100% of the people, and that's something that
You're
I
right.
have had to come to terms with. You know, just in the work that I do, because
Yeah.
you know the work that I do, I'm like trying to get young Muslims out of the haram and into the halal,
Yeah.
and show
That's
them
not
a
easy.
different side of Islam that maybe they haven't seen. That's not super strict. That's not, you know, you're going to hell for everything you do and so on and so forth. But also, there has to be some kind of interest. A lot of them don't have the interest because, man, the world out there is crazy, and it pulls you. The it's like, you know, they're being pulled away by this like huge wave in the ocean, and the wave is too strong.
Yeah.
And you can do what you can to get some people, but at the end of the day, if they're not looking back, trying to grab the rope that you're giving them, how the heck are you supposed to pull them back out?
Yeah. That's
Right? They're just
right.
looking there, going just with the wave, and you threw your the thing to save them, your rope or whatever.
Yeah.
But if number one, if they look at the rope and say, "Nah, I'm good," and keep going, what are you gonna do? And then some of them don't even know that the rope is there. So you do what you can, and you know we can give them alternatives, and we should give them alternatives, and they should be proper alternatives, not half baked things, right?
Yeah.
We should give them like when the massages were open, I would do a hike every single month,
Yeah.
and they would have 30 plus people at the hike. Alhamdulillah, it was good.
Yeah.
I would do a qiyam every month. I would have 60, 70 people at the qiyam. It just all in that one area of Maria that I lived in, right?
Yeah.
So it was successful. Alhamdulillah. It was hard work, but it was successful.
It's hard work. It's tough.
It's tough.
And
a lot of people don't realize
a lot of
stuff.
times you end up with
And that's
budget
why I'm like,
constraints.
look, we should be getting paid well for this stuff. It is not easy.
No,
It is not easy, man.
not at all.
I mean, we're in charge of not only people, like this is people's hearts and people, like it's hard. It's hard to mobilize, to gather people, and then to make sure that the program is good and it's enticing and it's something that all of these things that you got to do, and they try to pay you $25K a year, and you be like, man, I will slap you, you know. So no, but it is difficult. But that it is what we have to do. But I do want to go back to what we were talking about the Netflix movie. So Netflix did what they did, and for me specifically on my Instagram, I put that I'm canceling Netflix.
Okay.
And I canceled it. It's gone.
SubhanAllah.
I was getting Netflix for free, by the way,
Wow.
because I have T-Mobile, and with my plan, it's just there.
Okay.
So when I called the lady, I said, I want to cancel it. She was like, oh, obviously she's gonna ask, why do you want to cancel it? It's free. It just comes with your thing. I said, ma'am, I said, the thing is, I'm trying to make a statement, and if I don't stand for something, I'm going to fall for anything, right? Yeah. And I'm a leader in my community, and I need to lead by example.
You're right.
I've had Netflix for many, many, many years. Netflix has great titles. Netflix has some movies that I was just watching the other day, this Project Power movie that Jamie Foxx came out. Everyone's like, it's great, blah, blah, blah. I started watching it. Guess what? I said, I didn't finish it. I canceled the Netflix. Why?
That's mashallah. That's good. That's amazing,
bro. But it is it though? It's something that I feel like Netflix is not. It's just a want. It's not a need.
You're absolutely.
If I'm not able to drop something at the drop of a hat for what's right, then I have a problem.
No, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is why Islam is amazing, because it trains you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Nothing in this world is permanent. There's only Allah.
Yeah.
There's only Allah. So hold on to Allah, and everything else, realize that it's come and go. So if you have to let go of something, don't attach yourself too much to anything.
Yeah.
Right? Because there come a time where you'll have to let that go, even your own parents, even your own kids.
Yeah.
Right? Anything that you have have it in your pockets. Like they say, have money in your pockets, but not in your heart. Have the things around you, sure, but don't have it in your heart. Because I had some people that are struggling to let Netflix go, even though they agree that this is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, how's Netflix ever gonna know that this is actually wrong if we, the people, don't show Netflix that you need us, we don't need you?
You gotta hurt their pockets. That's what I
hurt
mean.
their pockets. Imagine if every Muslim that has Netflix says this is Islamophobic, this is pedophilia. I'm not gonna support it. Cancel the Netflix. Every Muslim that has Netflix.
Yeah.
That hurts their bottom line, bro.
That would be a colossal effect.
It will be a huge effect. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I canceled my Netflix, my brother was watching through Netflix. My sister was watching through Netflix. They hit me up like, "What's going on?" I said, "Go watch my IG story." And they're in Gambia. I don't have nothing to do right now, and I had to apologize to them. I said, "I'm sorry, guys."
I remember I came to your house. It's been a few years. Me and Shafiq came over, and you had the Netflix, and I think there was like 10 other people using it at that time.
Yeah. So I always have my Netflix where other people are using it. I have the Ultra HD account or whatever, where you have 45 people, whatever it may be.
Everybody must be like, man, you got it all off.
Everyone's hurt. But at the end of the day, first of all, I said, number one, it's not like Netflix is the only streaming service that exists.
Yeah.
So I didn't really do something so amazing because I still have Hulu. If Hulu has something like this, you're canceled.
Yeah.
I have Disney Plus.
I see.
Right? I got Amazon Prime TV.
Yeah.
So am I really hurting? You tell me I can't let go of Netflix just because of some of the movies where I'm not even going to watch a fraction of their movies?
Probably not.
I need to be able to, if today I had to cancel all of my streaming services, I should be able to cancel all of them to stand up for what's right.
Yeah.
Or to do the right thing. I should be able to do that without hesitation because the right thing should always be more important to me. And I think this is what I'm asking the Muslim community, that let's hurt them, where let's hit them where it actually hurts.
Okay, so let me ask you a question and you elaborate on this. What are 3 things, or if there's more, then tell more. What are 3 things we should do to let Netflix know that this is something that should not be released, or this is something that is wrong?
Well, I mean, there are things you can do, but for me, the number one thing, and we talked about, is hurt their pockets.
Okay.
That's the number one way to get anyone's attention.
Anyone's attention. You're right.
Hurt their pockets. If every Muslim comes together and says, "I'm canceling my Netflix," even if you were getting it for free, they still make money off of you streaming it.
Yeah, they do.
So I'm getting Netflix for free. I'm not paying the $11, but all the movies I'm watching, they're making money off of all of those.
Yeah.
So I'm still giving them money.
Yeah.
Without giving them the $11 a month. That's nothing. But I'm still giving them money. So stop watching their shows. Yeah. Stop watching their movies. And they'll see the decline and they'll inquire why. But you're already ready with the newsletter. Boom. Number 2, hit them with, this is what we demand from you. Right? If you want us to get your service again, we want you to be more cognizant of what you put out there. Yeah. Right? And it has to be something, some tangibles, right? Yeah. Like your movies should cater to a variety of audience, and it shouldn't upset anyone. You shouldn't have movies that are like this movie that's supposed to come out that is actually putting Islam in a bad light. Yeah. Like, why are you going out of your way to do that, right?
Well, it's not just Islam. Like I told you, like I wrote in the comment section, there was a lady I was watching, a Southern lady, right, Caucasian Southern lady, who's saying that this goes against conservative values, meaning anybody who has any sort of backbone of decency wouldn't watch it or even ask anybody to even look at it.
Exactly. And so that's what it is. So it's not even only in the Muslim community, but outside of the Muslim community, I know a lot of people Bleacher Report is like put out something saying like this is very disturbing.
It is.
And I agree. They're not Muslim. So you don't even have to be Muslim. You just have to be someone, like you said, has a little bit of a moral compass. Yeah. Right? Just a little bit of a moral compass to realize this is going south. I'm supposed to be north. So I'm not with this, right?
Yeah.
So if Netflix sees that we care about the kind of titles that they put out there, now we're not just sheep that are just gonna consume everything that they put out there. We're not like cattle where you can just tell us anything, show us anything, and we're just gonna fall for it and we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like that's just not. That's no. We're thoughtful human beings, right? We're critical thinkers, and the morality still exists in the world.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, right? And so be careful what you put out there. And then number 3 is make them like sign a contract about on that, and make them apologize to the Muslim community, make them apologize to the young women that put in the movie. And another thing is, like, I don't even know how their mothers and people let them do the movie, but that's none of my business.
Yeah.
The point is, if we hurt Netflix's money and we get the newsletter out, those 2 things will, or give them our demands about get this movie out of here. And if you do it again, we're hurting your bottom line again, right? Yeah. And once they see that we did it once, they'll be more careful. But if they see that nothing came from this, we're fine, right?
Yeah.
Why would they ever change?
Well,
if you don't give me a reason to change, why would I change what I was doing if it's working for me?
I think also that they canceled Hassan Minaj at the same time.
Yeah.
And then they're putting this out and being basically unapologetic about it. They're like, oh well, it's just a movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not just a movie.
It's not just. How they even say that it's just a movie? Because that's what people do nowadays. Oh, it's just comedy. There was this Australian comedian who was making fun of the Christchurch
I remember.
massacre, right?
Yeah.
And I saw people in the comment section. I was sick to death.
Yeah.
Muslims in the comment section. Oh, it's just comedy. You guys, if it was about the Christian, I'm like, are you serious?
No.
I said, so if the person that doing the comedy, if your father or your daughter died in that, you would stand up on stage and make fun of that. You would do that. The answer would be heck no. Not even close. No. So, you just have no empathy. That's what it is. It's just comedy. Because if you're going to go across the board, make fun of your own family's death, then I can't say anything to you. You have no heart. So you do what you want. But if you're saying, no, you would not do that, then what is it saying to me? That you just care more about yourself than you care about anyone else. You have no empathy. Not even empathy. There's no sympathy. Empathy is at a higher grade. You have no sympathy. Like you like seriously. Know?
I don't know if you saw it. There was recently a video. There was 2 ex-Muslims. What's it called? And then a Christian guy. And the Christian guy was eating, I think, Surah Fatiha. He ate the piece of paper, and so there was some discussion about that. And what it came down to is, as true Muslims, we would never desecrate or disrespect the Bible, even though how we feel about it and its message is, in its true form, it's the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in its current form, it's been changed.
There's been done, right.
And there have been additions and subtractions and stuff like that. But we would still, as true Muslims, never desecrate or destroy a Bible. It goes against what we do and how we stand.
Yeah.
And one of the funny things, and I'm just going to say this really short, one of the funny things about ex-Muslims or people who used to be Muslim is they never let go of the title of Muslim, because that's the only way they're making any money on YouTube. And if they were really sincere and they didn't want to be a Muslim anymore, they would stop bragging and tagging about Islam and just talk about all other religions, how they're all bad.
Absolutely.
And we'd see how much money they're making on YouTube then. And if they were really, really sincere and really hated Islam as much as they say they do, they would stop acting or feigning that they used to be Muslim and just drop it altogether. And let's see how much money they make on YouTube. That's a challenge to them. I know they can't do it.
They can't do it. That's where they get their money from. And with ex-Muslims is a whole other thing. But Lord, they definitely need a lot of help. There's a lot to be said about them. So we don't have time to go into that. But as far as Netflix, that's what I think that they should, we should demand from them. But we have to be able to let go of what we want to do what's right. We have to be able to not to sever the attachments that we have, to material things, to things that mean nothing. If I cannot give up a few movies for my morality, that's problematic.
Yeah. So as far as, okay, fine, canceling, and then you said something about like a newsletter. What do you mean by that? Just, if you can, are we supposed to send them some sort of a letter or email them something?
So when I say newsletter, I mean like we in the Muslim community, there should be a newsletter going around. There's a petition going around.
Okay.
Right, and it's been signed by I think right now 500,000 people.
Okay.
Signed the petition. That's huge. That's a lot. That's a big number. Imagine if all the 500,000 people cancel their Netflix.
Yeah. I think we should also have like a email prompt that we should all send to the next Netflix, customer service department as well.
Right. So that's with the letter. That's what I'm saying. Like, get like an official email that is written, well written, and we blast it out.
Can we find somebody to press send? Can we find somebody to make us one and we can share it on Facebook or something?
I mean, that's easily done.
Okay.
That's easily done. We can do the email thing. I mean, I can literally have my wife draft the email. Okay. I can draft the email. The email thing is easily done. We just need to find the right channels to blast that so it can get to where, like, imagine if 500,000 people sent that email. Right?
Yeah. No, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's powerful.
Yeah. No, you're right. But inshallah, it's not too much for you or your wife to draft it. Inshallah, I'll be right behind it and sending it out and sharing it as much as I can.
Yeah. No, I think there by the way, there already might be, we're not saying there's not, there might already be, because people are serious about this. But it just has to be something that's well written and puts the points down. It's pretty simple. Yeah. But put it clearly in a way where we're not attacking the person herself, who's the lady,
but who made the movie. Just making a statement that we don't feel like this is right.
Yeah, and that's what I told people. I'm like, look, Senegalese or not, that's my people. It doesn't matter if something is not right, it's not right. Because I saw a Muslim girl saying like she's kind of, she doesn't know how to, she's having mixed feelings. I said, that's the problem. The reason why you're having mixed feelings is because you're putting the fact that you're a woman and you're a black, Gambian woman in it, right? Muslim, black, Gambian. Like, you're putting that in it, so therefore you have mixed feelings. But if you just focus on what's right and take everything else out of it, you'll see that this ain't right. Right? There's and that's where I always tell people. I mean, I was talking to my wife and I was like, and this is why Rami is someone that follows me on Instagram. We chat on DMs. Rami Yusuf, the guy that made the movie, the show. Good guy, cool dude. I've never watched the show.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch a show, and he knows that.
Yeah.
But publicly, that's my bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm proud of you, man. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. Get out there. Whatever. But on the low, Rami is born and raised Muslim. He's very aware of the issues we have with the show.
Yeah.
Very aware. It's not something that's hidden.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you himself, like, look, I'm not making the show like to say like I'm the Muslim you should follow, blah blah blah, and this and that. I'm trying to highlight something in the Muslim community. I said, I understand that, but the way you're highlighting it is wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Mashallah.
You don't try to tell people about the dangers of pornography by showing a porn movie. You know what I'm saying?
Counterproductive.
Yeah, that's a little counterproductive. Because you're thinking that people are they're gonna watch the scenes and then watch what you're saying about, like, all you're doing is showing the movie.
Yeah.
You're just showing like, oh, this is what's going on in the Muslim community. Great. What else? Right? There's nothing else. There's nothing else there's no clear message.
Yeah.
So like, if you're gonna show something, at least do it in a way where we know that you're not supporting this and that you're just trying to show that it's happening, so we open our eyes, so we fix it.
Yeah.
But if I'm just gonna show, I mean, my friend tried to get me to watch like a couple of minutes of the show, and I was like, I watched a couple of minutes and I was like, I need to go pray. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not like, I understand if what he's trying to do, if that is what he's trying to do. I understand you're trying to do that. You have to do it in a way where you're not actually pushing the things that you're trying to highlight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pushing the, oh yeah, in the Muslim community, kids are having sex, and not, and then just like put that in your show where you show, a young Muslim kid having sex with a married woman.
Yeah.
In Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not like what? You know what I'm saying? Like things like that. I'm like, there has to be a better way to highlight that. There just has to be, right? Maybe you can just insinuate it without actually showing the act being done.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the problem with this Netflix movie. There's a way to do it without actually showing young girls twerking at 11 years old. Dressed provocatively and all that. You tell me there's no other way you could show that without having for my eyes having to see that, for it to be stuck in my psyche, in my brain.
Yeah, I mean they're always bringing up the problem with child pornography, pedophilia, and all these things, and then you're glorifying it and showing it in a movie.
Yeah, and making it seem like a positive thing, right? Oh, you're going against the harsh traditions and you know what I'm saying, like the conservative teachings of your family, and making the mom out to be the bad person for trying to protect her child from trying to keep her child a good like literally that's what it's like. The mom is like the bad person in the movie.
Yeah.
Right. At least in the commercial that they show, right? It just seems like the mom's like being too harsh. And the child is just trying to be a normal child. She's a good child. She's trying to be normal. She's just trying to be like everyone else. And when she finds her other friends, she's happy. She's jumping in the streets and she's hugging them. And I mean, what is that going to put into our minds? You know what I'm saying?
But inshallah, I'm not gonna take up too much more of your time. What's it called? Maybe 3 or 4 more minutes, and then inshallah we'll wrap up. Because I know you've been on for an hour. What's it called? Your family's probably waiting as well, and you took a nap just to be on with me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I got you, bro. We're brothers. I got you. No problem.
But what's it called? But how's teaching and everything going? You're still teaching right now, or right now the classes are off?
Yeah. So we're still teaching online. It's it's still going.
Okay.
Going full force. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So I have my the regular head school, and then I have my own institution as well, the Maryam Quranic Institute that I made and run. Alhamdulillah. On the side. So
you have are you still taking applications for students, or you're full?
I'm not full yet. No. I have to actually go through my emails to see the if I'm full, I don't know it, because I haven't been able to.
If anybody needs their kids to get any Quranic education or lessons, you can contact Hassan. What is the website? What is the email address?
They can email MQ Institute 18. So MQ Maryam Quranic. Right? The MQ is from Maryam Quranic Institute 18 at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah.
And what is this? This is Hifz, or you're teaching Nadra, or what are you teaching?
It's everything. It's beginners, Hifz. There's learning the letters. Is learn as you go. There's different there's different things you can you can do, inshallah. So if you're someone who is brand new and wants to learn the letters, that's there as well for you. If you're someone who wants to do like part-time Hifz, that's there. If you're an adult that basically like, look, I don't have time to do all that stuff. We also have the learn as you go, where you'll do lessons, and you'll have videos put up for you, and you can watch them later, and alhamdulillah.
And then what's it called? How is Imam Muntaha doing?
Oh, he's good, man. He's chilling, enjoying his quarantining and whatnot. Alhamdulillah.
They're having Jummah and everything again out there in Gambia?
They were. I think now they're being a little bit even more careful, because the cases of COVID were starting to rise a little bit. So they made like a strict curfew, mask everywhere, and you get fined a lot if you don't do it. So they're trying.
I know he does a lot of majalis of dhikr. So I mean, I imagine right now are they happening online, or they're not happening at all?
Nah, bruh, they're not happening. Not really. But
Okay.
if they do have it, they have to have everyone like really apart. And the masjid that is in our compound, my grandfather's compound, is not
Yeah.
is it can hold because we have it like the prophetic way where the sisters are like right in the back when you come
Yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
the brothers in the front. So there's
Yeah.
no separate. So there's only so much space
Yeah.
in there. So they can't have too much. So even if they have like the majalis, the halaqat, everyone has to be 6 feet apart, wearing that mask. So I'm not sure if they're still having it or not.
I see. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for everybody.
I
But
mean,
Jazakallah khair for your time. I really appreciate your time
hopefully.
and for the conversation and for giving your viewpoints and letting us know what we can do, what we should do, and obviously highlighting it that it's not actually something big, but it's actually something basic which we should be doing. And inshallah,
Yes.
if there isn't an email out there, if you guys come up with the email, I'm going to be totally behind it and inshallah forwarding it and sending it out and sharing it to everybody and sending it into Netflix myself. And I
Inshallah.
encourage everybody else to do it as well. Jazakallah
Yes.
khair, Hassan.
Wayakum, bro.
Rahmatullah.
Inshallah. I'll see you, inshallah. Inshallah, we'll talk. Jazakumullah khairan for having me on.
No problem.
Barakallahu feekum. Inshallah, we'll talk soon.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.